My name is Godwill Chamuno, and I'm director here at VHT Healthcare Training based in the West Midlands. And today I wanted to talk about NVQs. NVQs. A lot of people still refer to this type of training in health and social care and other sectors, and they still refer to them as NVQs. The first thing that I wanted to say from the onset is that NVQs do not exist anymore. NVQs do not exist anymore. They were replaced a few years ago with RQFs. So they're now called RQFs. NVQs were introduced 10 years ago. They were national vocational qualifications, and they helped you to gain more qualifications whilst you're in your job. But they were replaced, as I said, with RQFs. The standards of how you train and how you acquire the formal qualification of RQF is still the same. And we'll go through that in a moment. So, were you asked by new employer to, if you have NVQ in health and social care? Some companies are not yet schooled on the idea that NVQs don't exist anymore. So some companies, some old school people that are still thinking about back in the day, they still refer to NVQs, yet they are now called RQF. So if you're asked whether you have an NVQ in health and social care, then what they're asking actually is, do you have an RQF in health and social care? So I've got 7 points which are very important. Why? Because if you have gone online to look for an NVQ in health and social care, I bet you saw an advert on that. I bet you saw a company offering an NVQ, even though they don't exist anymore. That's number one. Number two, I bet that some of the companies you saw were offering it for like £12 or £30, very, very cheap, and it's a diploma. And you wondered, at the back of your head, you said to yourself, why is it costing so little? We'll talk about that. And I bet you also saw the time frame. They said you can do this within 2.5 hours, or within a day, or within a week, or within 2 weeks. That is also a red flag, and we'll come to that in a moment. So let's talk about the 7 key points that I have, and we'll start with the first one: regulation. What are formal qualifications and what are informal qualifications? If you find a company that is just offering a qualification, you need to check if the qualification meets Ofqual standards, if it's regulated under Ofqual. So Ofqual is the main body in the UK that sets all the standards of training. Informal training we're talking about here, informal regulated training. So Ofqual sets the standards. Then companies such as your City and Guilds and your TQ UKs, they then become registered with Ofqual to be able to accredit different types of training. So make sure that the certificate you get is coming from a company that is regulated by Ofqual. That has to be, that's quite key. I mean, there are other regulatory companies out there, but Ofqual is the main when it comes to health and social care. Then the second thing that you need to think about is, we talk about a diploma. The word diploma can be used by anybody. Someone can offer you a diploma in health and social care, but doesn't mean it's a formal qualification and doesn't mean it's regulated. So any private company can create, the knowledge, a course with knowledge that is diploma level knowledge around a subject and call it a diploma, but it doesn't make it a diploma, a formal diploma, because it is not regulated. So in this country, in the UK, someone can create the course, even call it a diploma and sell it, and it's perfectly legal, but it won't be a formal qualification. So we'll talk about what are the disadvantages of an informal qualification, and as we go through the points, we'll talk about that. So first of all, is it Ofqual regulated? Secondly, is it associated with a company that is registered with Ofqual, like City and Guilds or TQ UK? Thirdly, what's the time scale of the course? With RQFs in health and social care, there's coursework to be done. There's also a day that your tutor or teacher has to come and observe you in the training. That's part of an RQF, the proper RQF. There has to be a direct observation. So the time scale for completing a formal RQF, formerly MVQ, is supposed to be between about 190 hours or so, which can equate to about maybe 3 to 6 months, or even 12 months to 18 months, depending on how fast you work. Time scale is very important. Now, most of these online private courses, they'll probably tell you you can complete this in 1 day or in a week. Please be mindful when you see those time frames. Thirdly, the assessments. Remember, I said someone has to come and assess you in your place of work because it is a vocational qualification. So if you have the private company offering you online only and telling you it's a formal qualification, that is false. That is false. Fifth point is around formal credits. So when you do a formal qualification that is regulated and accredited, you can use those points you gain from there to also apply for higher education. So you can use the points you gain to apply for university for higher education. With an informal qualification, you can't. It is not recognized anywhere. It does not carry any credits, so you can never apply for higher education. The formalized, regulated RQFs carry credits you can use in higher education. That's the fifth point. The sixth point is there are companies online who are offering these courses, but the people that are training you, the company itself has no experience whatsoever in healthcare, and they're offering this qualification. No experience whatsoever. So again, make sure that you are getting your RQF in health and social care from an experienced health and social care company where you have qualified, trained nurses or qualified healthcare professionals. And also make sure that you get some face-to-face time where you can do some practicals, like it could be taking blood pressure, taking temperature, things like that. And we offer that at VHT Healthcare Training. So if you're doing RQFs with us, you'll be able to have face-to-face and practicals with a registered and qualified healthcare professional who's experienced in the job and can tell you the ins and outs of being in the healthcare industry. So that is also very key. Some of these online companies, all they give you is an online course that is prepared by someone with no experience, and you never see anybody or anyone you can ask questions. Anyone who can give you human to human contact and human to human in terms of answering your questions. So that is also quite key. And lastly, let's talk about cost. So you will see this course is costing about £10, £12, £30. And you think, oh, it's a bargain. I'm getting a whole diploma for that amount. If a course is coming out cheap in price, that is another red flag. Why is it costing that little? Or what are they gaining from that? Now, here's the thing. For you to have a formal qualification, you have to be registered, right? With the companies I talked about, City and Guilds. Now, registration to City and Guilds or TQ UK is about £80 for a level 2 or level 3 formal qualification diploma. It's about £80. So if they're charging £12, how are they then managing to pay the regulated fees that are required for that course? So cost also should give you immediate feedback that this is not a formal qualification and it's not going to be any benefit from you. A lot of NHS organizations, they will look at your NVQ RQF and they will want to see maybe your coursework. They want to see how long you did it for, and if you only did it online for a short period of time, they will not acknowledge it as a bona fide, genuine RQF, as you term it, NVQ. They won't take it as that. So you need to make sure that you join a proper, accredited and regulated company that trains you in the right way. So those are the 7 points that I wanted to touch on. Is it off-qual regulated? Is a company that like TQ UK or City and Guilds involved who are also regulated under off-qual? What is the time scale? If it's for a short period of time to acquire it, it's not a formal qualification. What are the assessments? Is someone coming out to assess you at work doing the job? Is someone going to have face-to-face contact with you? If there isn't that, it is not a formal qualification. Number 5, what credits? You have credits towards higher education. Credits towards higher education. If that doesn't exist, it's not what you need. Are there any qualified, experienced people in that field? So for a company to be to be registered with Ofqual or TQ UK, they have to submit trainer qualifications to confirm that the trainers who will be doing the training are actually experienced and trained people in that field. So if you're doing it online, you can't guarantee that. You can't guarantee that at all. So that's the sixth point. And the last point there is about cost. If it costs too cheap, it's probably not worth it. I'm not even trying to sell here. I'm just being as honest and as honest as I can. If it costs too little, you need to question it. As simple as that. So I know it's a lot to take in, but I hope it's been of help. My name again is Godwill Chamuno, and we are VHT Healthcare. VHT Healthcare based in the West Midlands. If you want to get in touch, please do so on the following number. We are on 078 65 000 504. I'll give you that number again. It's 078 65 000 504. And would love to hear from you. Thank you.